Hello to the chicos and the chicas. In today's video I'm going to do something that I have been planning for a while, and today is the day, so let's see how we go. Many of you know that I used to do a series called The Coach Reacts, where I would have people record their own thought process and then I would reflect on that. It's a very difficult thing to arrange and do, and so I decided to do a side spin on that. And instead of doing that, I'm now going to walk you my thought process while we are looking at a 1900 level game. And the way we are going to do this is that I'm going to play out the moves, and I'm going to put myself in one's shoe, in this case Black's shoes, and we are going to play the game out. Like, I'm going to tell you my thought process, what I would do, and then we are going to compare that to what actually went down in the game. I really do think that this is an interesting format with potential. So let's see how we go. As far as the game is concerned, just a quick introductory words. A 1900 rating level game on Chess.com Rapid. And I haven't seen the game, right? So it's very important that I'm coming in fresh, which I think is very important to make the whole experience genuinely authentic. So don't do that. So I don't know why anyone would play d5 here, but if you are a Grimfeld player, you must wait for knight c3. If you are a Queen's Gambit declined or a Slav player, you must push one of these two pawns first before you play d5. The reason for this is because you get hit on the head, and then they play e4, d4, and then e4 against pretty much every move you can play here. So the reason why in the Queen's Gambit people play e6 or c6 here most typically is because we need to have the ability to retain on d5 with the pawn, thus retaining our foothold in the center. If you do it the way our friend is doing it here, we are already in severe trouble after cd, which apparently was played. Now, the reason why I said you need to wait knight c3 for Grimfeld players is because when you do that, then after d5 take e4, you get to take a knight on c3. You don't have to retreat with the knight. Allow your opponent fluid development. You can take, and then you can immediately have a go at the center. So this is, frankly, I have no better word to describe this, but shocking way to play an opening where one is out of book on move 2. On 1900 level, that's crazy. Nowadays, that is. Anyway, so capture was played. Take back with the knight is still best, so surely that happened. g3. Wow. Okay, so this would definitely shock me as a black player, because I would have anticipated hit d4 100%. Because of my anticipation was d4 and it was not played, 100% my first candidate move here is to meet d4 adequately, which the only move that does it is c5. We need to have presence in the center, and it doesn't matter whether you know this opening or you don't know this opening. Opening principles demand us to set foot in the center with pawns one way or another. I can't go e5, c5 it is. No other move really comes to my mind. Like, I genuinely don't really have any other candidate moves. A very weakish argument could be made for g6, but it should be c5 any days of the week, and then bishop g2, knight c6, and then develop my king side is a regular main line of the English. Let's see what happened. Surely c5. I've got nothing. This is unbelievable. Like, this is already going to be a banger. I can see this game and the series maybe too. Wow. So I don't understand how, and I really don't mean to be nasty, and this is exactly why I covered out the names, by the way, how people can reach 1900 with zero opening principles. Like, none. Like, this is not controlling the center. It's not developing really, because if they wanted to develop the bishop, they could have developed the bishop. There were available squares, but we shouldn't develop bishops for knights. So the whole thing is just absolutely royally falling apart by move 4. Like, if someone told me this was 1100 by black, I wouldn't have bat an eyelid. This is really, really poor opening play. Again, d4, e4 is a major concern of mine, but I have no doubt in my mind that both sides are going to blindly dash. Check out their bishops and castle, maybe. Nope, d4. Okay, fair enough. Alright, so how do we steady the ship now? Okay, so now I have got actually two candidate moves. And I'm gonna hazard a guess that... No, one of them will be played for sure. So, here's what I'm thinking. It's either e6 or knight f6. And nothing else comes into consideration, again in my opinion. Which, by the way, is going to be a bit of a thesis of this video, and perhaps if I turn it into a series, that too, is that when you observe a higher rated player against a lower rated player, one of the most important things that stand out as a difference between how they think is the size of the move pool they pick from, aka the candidate moves, how many they pick from. I'm down to 2. And almost every step along the way, from move 3 to move 7 where we are now, I had about 2. It looks like black was running on like 5, 6, 7, 8 on every single move. So, and that's never a good thing, by the way, because generally speaking, your principles and your general knowledge of chess helps you to seriously narrow it down. Now, why is it e6 and knight f6? Because I'm really, really worried about the consequences of e4, knight f6, e5, knight back to d5, and e6. That, which by the way I have got multiple YouTube videos about, is a very nasty motive. So whether I play knight f6 or perhaps e6, e4 and then knight back, I have successfully denied the advancement of the pawn. e6 played, brilliant. Okay, so that's our first good news. So to demonstrate what I'm talking about, let's say they went knight d7, yeah? e4, knight back, e5, knight d5, e6. And after takes castles, we are borderline sitting on a resignable position because this pawn is dead, the bishop can't get out, knight g5, knight e6 is gonna be just absolute carnage city. So I'm already thinking about dodging losses here, and hence e6 and knight f6 are my only 2 candidates. So e6 played, good. Castles. Okay, so I guess knight f6 still makes sense, either that or bishop e7, but my general instinct here tells me to get the heck out of here with the king. So bishop e7 castles, and then ultimately try to play, excuse me, for a c5 break. We should be a-okay here, so yeah, I think I would play bishop e7. Yeah, okay, let's go. Knight e7 acceptable. I don't mind this, but I feel like it's misprioritizing things a little bit. So it was more important to develop the king side and get the heck out of the middle before we get stormed in the center and blast the position open against our king. So knight d7 played, e4. So now knight f6 is the total no-brainer, guaranteed. It comes with the tempo, and yeah, if then they push e5, then we can jump back to d5, and then the knight is on an outpost, and nothing can stop us from completing development and striking at the center with c5. For the first time, I feel like we are actually not horribly off of this position. So let's go. Holy Moses! How? Why? What? Oh boy. Oh, and you don't see, by the way, the time consumption of the black player, because in order to cover out the names, I had to cover out that too. It's a 15-10 rapid. We are on 15-29 for black. Insane. But knight e7, man. Yeah. Okay, so I know why they did it. And this is so typical and so easily fixable, completely wrong thinking. They thought, oh, I don't want to go to knight f6 because then they can kick me again with a tempo and then I have to move the knight again. And they are gaining space in the interim. Now, what's wrong with this argument? First and foremost, if you put the knight on e7, you will definitely have to move it again, 100%, because you just blocked your bishop in. So you actually did not save a tempo. In fact, likely you are losing 1 or 2, because from e7, you have nowhere good to go. Right? So now we are forcing ourselves to have to make another knight move, but the knight has only garbage squares to go to. So the tempo argument is wrong, and because of in the interim we are ruining both pieces, it's already crazy. And as far as white is gaining space, it's true. However, as a side effect or side product or byproduct of that, they also gave us an outpost on d5. They made our development very, very standard and easy, and they gave us, once again, a stock standard central break. Totally fine position for black in the grand scheme of things. And instead we just went like that is the difference between playing a healthy move and playing a move after which I really feel like I want to resign this with black now. Like, that is just wowzers. Wowee. And as you can see, I'm trying to justify this, but it's all airy-fairy stuff. Like, as soon as you look into precise moves, it just makes no sense. Okay, knight c3 played. I mean, yeah, whatever. I don't want to play this anymore. End of video. Thanks for watching. Bye. No, I'm kidding. But, like, oh my word. I know what I would do here. Since knight g6 is insanely ugly, and potentially does lose to d5, or at least I feel like we're getting... Oh, maybe we have e5 there. But yeah, knight g6, h4, h5 is also very, very, very obnoxiously annoying there. So I'm thinking now that the only way to not die instantly might be to play g6. And then bishop g7 and castles. Because I'm very, very conscious of knight g6, h4. Here we go with the knight that we wanted to avoid not having to move one more time. And instead now I have to move it infinite number of times, because after h5 I have to go somewhere very bad again. So I would actually play here g6. It looks sinfully ugly. I'm really scared about d5, but I think I just have e5 push past to keep everything tightly closed. And Hail Mary that I can do this. And then I'm strategically still lost, but at least I survived the first 10 moves. Yeehaw. Everything else to me just looks unplayable here. Like c5, d5 is over because I'm initiating fight in the center when I'm completely underdeveloped. Knight g6, h4 to me looks unplayable. Yeah. So g6 it is. That's what I would play here. g6, bishop g7, castles. Yeah, I mean, this is a logical consequence of the awful play that we did with knight e7. So look at this knight now. Like, can't go. We spent, like, 2 moves to put this knight from the center to the worst possible square on the board. Granted, it was under attack, but we could have provoked white to force us back here, right? Nah. Instead, we spend the same amount of moves to land here. Interesting. Okay, no worries. We are absolutely irreparably dead lost here. d5. Yeah. I call this move, and very logical. White tries to blast the position open. The first thing that you take note of is that takes is not even on your thinking. Because that's what white wants. They want to blast this open. What do we want with the king being stuck in the middle, undeveloped bishop, miserable knight, yada yada yada? You want to close it off. And I already know it wasn't played because the board went pale. And you know that that's when you are diverting from the game. So now after e5 I can play bishop d6 castles. And our position is very cramped. 5 out of our 4 minor pieces are absolutely total rubbish. But because of the position is closed, you get away with that. And this is something that people tend to forget. It doesn't matter how many horrid pieces you have. if you keep the position closed, they don't necessarily count as much as they would if the position was open, because then fights will ensue immediately and we are not ready because our pieces are garbage. But now, once I play the bishop to d6 and I have those 5 minor pieces absolutely miserably placed on the board, I'm still alive because white can't really access my miserable position due to the very close nature of the center. I'm frightened to know what black played here. Okay, so the move that I just said initially, that not happening, like illegal. Okay, let's go. I think ed5 is more sensible. I think ed5 would have been more sensible. And granted, after bishop e7, it seems like the e-file has been blocked off. But even here after h4, I'm very, very, very worried about how this is gonna go. And for those of you who are not quite sure about what this h4 business is all about, it's very, very awkward when this pawn is coming down at you and the knight has no good squares to go to. Oh, I just spotted a beautiful tactic too, I think. So castles, h5, 95, 95, 95, d6, I think wins the house. Yes, it does. Yeah, that's why you want to keep it closed, friends. So now bishop takes, I have this in between, you take, and I'm up a piece. So, oh, that was a very cool demonstration, actually. And if there is no knight e5, I have to come back here. That's what h5 is all about. And additionally to that, when I play h5, these two moves combined are absolutely awful. Because now after knight g5, I can't ever castle without allowing queen h5. And because of you are a crafty player, you already know that I just announced d6 as a threat with white because the diagonal has been opened up. None of this, literal none of this could have happened if he had played the correct e5. Now, the irony is, I always tell you guys to calculate, calculate, calculate more. e5 is a textbook example of a move that requires zero calculation, pure common sense. Do we want to open up the position? No. Okay then. All right, so we took d5, they took back with the knight. Incomprehensible move by white, but I'm not going to critique their moves too much because then this video would go on forever. Okay, so I could kick the knight, but I feel like I don't want to do that. I would rather, if I can, I would rather play here bishop d6 and complete development again ASAP. Do I have to worry about e5 there? 95, 95, 95, and now my bishop is loose. But I think we are fine there. Yeah, I think I would go bishop d6 here. Yeah, that's my only move. So I did look briefly at c6, but I don't like the fact that it blocks the diagonal. It's just it doesn't feel right to me. And so bishop d6 is my move, followed by castles. I haven't practiced my face-making business, but I need a drink to calm the farm a little bit. So, we don't trade bishops for knights has been on the topic of discussions lately on Twitch, YouTube, wherever you go, especially when it's not forced. Now, black is quite tender on the light squares already because of the misplaced knights, the diagonal, these things. So, giving up the light squared bishop, it just makes your position feel like easy entry and access wherever we look. So now we are gonna die to rook d1, bishop h3, knight g5, and all the tragedies exclusively are taking place on light squares. Like, this is typically a move you would never ever consider. Like, that is the same, to my mind, above a certain level as queen g5. And it just doesn't occur to you to do that because your instincts are telling you it's not the right thing to do. Right? Like, if your stove is on and you see the flames, you think about you know, options like what can I do? Put a stove on it. Sorry, put a pan on it or put a pot on it. Put your hand on it is not an idea. Bishop d5 falls into this category about, I don't know where I would draw the rating range for this, but about 1300 at the absolute best. Crazy city. Okay, queen takes. And again, I just would like to check myself out of this game and go like, well, you did that, buddy. My only candidate is bishop e7 because I'm obsessed with castling and I think bishop d6 would walk into e5. In fact, it does. Note again the tactic, bishop d6, e5, whatever takes e5, knight takes, and we are losing the rook. So again, I had two choices. Here, and I'm justifying why I'm going here. Even in my most miserable state, I am justifying my decision making. Note that knight f6 would be nice to trade queens, but after queen c6 check, I'm busted because I can't block with the queen because the rook is hanging. So bishop e7, absolutely only move in my book, and likely even after that we're going to lose miserably. Okay, square is correct. I wonder if we are going knight g8, knight b8. I kid you not, I could not have picked a better game. And I haven't seen any of this coming my way, but wow. Just 97, man. Like, I really don't understand. I'm trying to figure out what kind of thinking leads to this move, as that is the best I can do in this position. Right? Like, does white have an immediate threat? No. Let's bend the rules a bit. No. Okay then. Am I developed? No. Is my king safe? No. Should I attempt to castle the heck out of this absolute crazy city? Yes. So bishop move, wherever, man. Like, after this, the only way we are not gonna lose this game if they forget that the queen is hanging. And it's getting to the phase where even after that I wouldn't be 100% convinced. Oh my. Okay, makes sense. I mean, okay, so honestly, if I was black here, I would play knight g6. But I'm not joking. I actually would play knight g6 here. Dead set. Knight g6, bishop out, castles. I mean, what else? What else would you do? But it's beyond saving now. Because after knight g6, I think they have got rook d1, and I'm just going to die on the pin. Okay, I mean, we are not addressing any of their existing problems. I am already thinking that after either knight move, we are actually dying because we don't even have an adequate defense against the mate on f7. Like, after 14 moves of chess... Oh, that wasn't played. We have got 2 knights out, and that's all we could do. Like, it is seriously, my friends, time to go back to the drawing board. And I didn't mean to make it about my principles, but holy... Ay, 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 ay. Okay, so let's see what happened. Yeah, second best, I'm guessing. 96, yeah. So, any bishop move followed by rook d1 looks absolutely deadly. The queen check already picks up a pawn. And there is also bishop h3 here, which is very strong with the idea of taking f7. Maybe playable already, but that's just for the fancy pants. I would play bishop h3 here. Oh! They did it! Cool beans. As for black, queen d6. Queen d6. But honestly, we are way beyond repair here. So, from here on out, I wouldn't be able to make any difference. I would lose this game with black. I mean, once again, I don't necessarily understand why you would want to go here if you can go here. At least I'm kicking the knight. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, rook d1 for white now. It looks obvious. Bishop e3 looks obvious. Maybe that wins too, but this requires a bit of calculation. For black, I would take it, because if you don't, then why are we even here? f4 obvious. Yep. Should I call it a day and not call moves anymore for black? Because it's so utterly hopeless. I was thinking for a second playing knight g6, f5, knight e5 to at least have a semi-decent knight there. But after check, king g8... Nah, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Like, I'm just now curious as to how it all ends. Actually, I should have seen this. No, I regret that I checked out of this game too soon. Because now f5 is actually losing to queen d4 check. So white needs to find bishop e3 here. No, I kudos to the black player here. I have been smacking them in the head throughout this game. They deserve credit for this. Yep. Yes. Now we need to slide back to b3 with white. Yep. And now rook, I wouldn't have taken this. But I checked myself out here. I'm just going to play through the rest because I'm very curious how this all ended. Well, this is how it ended. But sticking with the theme, we're still rock solid in going backwards. Oh my word. Okay, so... Oh, that was neat. That was very neat. Rook takes and then bishop d5. Yeah, and a nice win. Okay, so conclusion. Opening play, opening principles. We passed with a score of 1 out of 10 because I'm feeling lenient. d5, no go. b6, no go. e6 was okay. Knight e7 is like, oh my god. And then take on d5 was just absolutely insanity. Taking on d5 was wow. And then knight e7 put the icing on the cake. So I would say that out of the first 12, we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves that were absolutely unworthy of 1900 level of chess, or so easily fixable and avoidable, and fix your principles, man. Anyway, all those things aside, I'm very curious what you thought about this, because yeah, I'm presenting here a game and you know, a somewhat higher rated perspective on it. It's very difficult to bring the emotions in there, but hey, that's what makes us us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought. Please smack a like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Check out the merch shop, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.